happen if you completely stop eating sugar for the next 30 days. No sugary drinks, no desserts, no hidden sugars in snacks. Just a full month without the sweet stuff most people consume every day. At first, your body might react in surprising ways. But as the days pass, many people begin to notice major changes in energy levels, cravings, and even overall health. In this video, we're exploring what really happens to your body when you cut sugar for 30 days, and why this simple challenge can have powerful effects. Days 1 to 3. Your body goes into withdrawal mode. This is the part nobody talks about enough. When you cut sugar cold turkey, the first few days can genuinely feel rough. You might get headaches. You might feel irritable, tired, anxious, or just off. This is not in your imagination. It is your brain actually going through a form of withdrawal. Sugar triggers the release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical in your brain. It does this in a way that is similar to certain addictive substances. When you suddenly remove it, your brain panics a little. It wants that dopamine hit, and it is not getting it anymore. You might also notice strong cravings during these first 3 days. Your body has been running on a blood sugar roller coaster for possibly years, and it does not just calm down overnight. You go from a spike to a crash to a spike again, and now you're cutting off the fuel for that cycle. The cravings you feel during this period are not a sign of weakness. They are a biological response. They will pass. Push through them, and the next phase becomes much easier. Days 4 to 7. Energy starts to stabilize. By the end of the first week, something interesting starts to happen. That energy roller coaster you've been on, the one where you feel great after lunch, and then completely crash an hour later, starts to flatten out. Your blood sugar levels begin to stabilize because you're no longer spiking them with large doses of added sugar every few hours. The result is a more steady, consistent level of energy throughout the day. You stop feeling that 3 p.m. slump is hard. You stop relying on a sugary snack just to get through the afternoon. Sleep also tends to improve during this period. High sugar intake is linked to disrupted sleep patterns. When your blood sugar is spiking and crashing at night, it can wake you up or stop you from reaching the deeper stages of sleep. Once you cut the sugar, many people report falling asleep more easily and waking up feeling more rested. This combination of better sleep and steadier energy makes the end of week 1 feel like you've turned a corner. Most of the withdrawal symptoms are behind you, and the benefits are starting to show up. Week 2. Your skin starts to change. Your skin is one of the most visible places where cutting sugar shows up, and it usually happens sooner than most people expect. Sugar causes a process in the body called glycation. This is where sugar molecules attach to proteins like collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin firm, smooth, and elastic. When glycation happens, it makes those proteins stiff and damaged. The result over time is wrinkles, dullness, and sagging. By cutting sugar, you're slowing down that damage. Beyond the anti-aging effect, many people see a direct reduction in acne and breakouts during the second week. Sugar increases insulin levels, which triggers the production of androgens, hormones that signal your skin to produce more oil. More oil means more clogged pores and more pimples. When you remove the sugar, insulin spikes go down, androgen activity drops, and your skin calms down. People who have struggled with chronic acne for years are often stunned at how much clearer their skin gets in just 2 to 3 weeks without sugar. Puffiness also decreases because sugar contributes to inflammation in the body, and that inflammation often shows up literally in your face. Week 2, your brain gets sharper. The mental clarity that comes from cutting sugar is one of the most frequently reported changes, and it tends to kick in around the middle of the second week. When your blood sugar is constantly spiking and crashing, your brain suffers for it. Concentration becomes difficult. You find it hard to stay focused on one thing for long. Memory feels foggy. Decision-making feels harder than it should. This is commonly known as brain fog, and sugar is one of its biggest dietary causes. Once your blood sugar stabilizes, your brain has a consistent, reliable fuel source. It does not have to deal with the disruption of those highs and lows anymore. The result is sharper thinking, better focus, and an improved ability to stay on task. Many people describe it as a fog lifting, like suddenly being able to think clearly again, when they hadn't even realized how cloudy things had gotten. Mood also tends to improve during this period because dopamine production starts to re-regulate, and because blood sugar crashes are no longer causing irritability and anxiety. People often report feeling calmer, more even-tempered, and generally in a better headspace by the end of week 2. Week 3. Your gut starts to heal. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria, and the balance of those bacteria has a huge impact on your overall health. Your immune system, your digestion, your mood, your energy, almost everything. Sugar feeds the bad bacteria in your gut. It allows harmful strains to overgrow, which throws the entire ecosystem out of balance. This imbalance is linked to bloating, gas, digestive discomfort, and even things like anxiety and depression through what scientists call the gut-brain connection. When you cut sugar, you starve those harmful bacteria. The beneficial strains, the ones that help with digestion, immunity, and mental health, start to regain their ground. By week 3, a lot of people notice significant changes in digestion. Bloating decreases. Stomach discomfort becomes less frequent. Bowel movements become more regular. The gut is literally healing, and you can feel it. On top of that, your immune system starts to get stronger. Sugar is known to suppress immune function. One study suggested it can reduce the ability of white blood cells to fight bacteria for up to 5 hours after consumption. With sugar out of the picture, your body's defenses work more efficiently. Week 3. You start losing weight without trying. This one surprises a lot of people. By week 3, many people start to see the scale moving, and they haven't changed anything else. They haven't started exercising more or counting calories. They just stopped eating added sugar. Here's why it happens. Sugar drives insulin, and insulin is your fat storage hormone. When insulin is constantly high because of constant sugar consumption, your body stays in fat-storing mode. It becomes very difficult to burn stored fat, even when you're in a calorie deficit. Cut the sugar, insulin comes down, and suddenly your body can actually access its fat stores and use them for energy. There's also the simple math of it. Cutting out sugary drinks, desserts, candy, and processed snacks means you're cutting out a significant number of empty calories. Calories that provide no nutrition and no real satiety. Sugar also disrupts leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. When leptin signaling is off, you tend to overeat because your brain doesn't register that you're full properly. Once sugar is out of the picture, leptin starts working better, you feel satisfied on less food, and natural weight loss follows. For people who have been struggling to lose weight despite trying hard, removing sugar often turns out to be the missing piece. Week 4. Your heart and liver thank you. By the final week, the benefits are going deeper into your internal organs. Your liver is one of the organs most directly affected by high sugar intake, specifically fructose, which is 1/2 of the table sugar molecule and makes up most of the added sugar in processed foods. Your liver processes fructose in a way that is similar to how it processes alcohol. When you consume too much of it, the liver converts it into fat. This fat builds up over time in a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is now one of the most common liver conditions in the world. After 30 days without sugar, the liver starts to clear that fat. Studies have shown meaningful reductions in liver fat in as little as 10 days when sugar is eliminated from the diet. So by week 4, you are well on your way. Your cardiovascular system is also healing. High sugar intake raises triglycerides, increases LDL cholesterol, drives inflammation in the arteries, and raises blood pressure, all major risk factors for heart disease. Cutting sugar addresses all of these. By the end of 30 days, blood pressure often decreases, triglyceride levels drop, inflammation markers in the blood go down. Your heart is working in a cleaner, less hostile environment, and that has a direct long-term impact on your risk of heart attack and stroke. What happens to your taste buds? One of the most fascinating and unexpected changes that happens over 30 days without sugar is what happens to your perception of taste. Sugar is so dominant in most people's diets that it essentially overpowers everything else. Your taste buds become desensitized to sweetness over time, which means you need more and more sugar to get the same level of sweet satisfaction. It works exactly like a tolerance builds up with other substances. When you go 30 days without it, your taste buds recalibrate. Things that used to seem barely sweet, like a piece of fruit, start to taste intensely sweet and satisfying. Vegetables start to have more flavor. Your whole sense of taste becomes more sensitive and more nuanced. Many people find that after 30 days, the foods they used to love, the cookies, the sodas, the candy, taste unbearably sweet when they try them again. This recalibration is genuinely one of the most liberating parts of the process. It means that eating healthy stops feeling like a sacrifice. Whole foods start tasting good on their own, without needing to be sweetened up or jazzed up with sauces and additives. What about natural sugars in fruit? A question that comes up often when people try to cut sugar is whether fruit is off-limits. The short answer is no. For most people, fruit does not need to be eliminated. The type of sugar that causes the problems discussed in this video is added sugar, the refined, processed sugar that is either put into foods during manufacturing or added at home. These are the sugars that lead to blood sugar spikes, cravings, and long-term metabolic issues. Fruit, on the other hand, contains natural sugars, but it also comes packed with fiber, vitamins, antioxidants, and water. The fiber in whole fruit slows down the absorption of sugar in your bloodstream, which means your blood sugar doesn't spike nearly as fast or as dramatically as it would from a candy bar, soda, or other processed treat. In addition, the water content and bulk of fruit help you feel fuller, making it easier to satisfy a sweet craving in a healthy way. The story changes, however, when it comes to fruit juice. Juicing removes most of the fiber and concentrates the sugar. A single glass of orange juice can have almost as much sugar as a regular soda, and without the fiber to slow absorption, it hits your bloodstream very quickly. That's why whole fruit is generally fine during a sugar reset, while fruit juice is best limited or avoided. For the purpose of a 30-day sugar reset, the focus should be on eliminating refined and added sugars, the ones hiding in sodas, sweets, baked goods, sauces, cereals, flavored yogurts, and processed snacks. Reading ingredient labels is key because sugar often appears under many different names: sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, cane sugar, agave nectar, and more. By cutting these added sugars while keeping whole fruit in your diet, you can reduce unnecessary blood sugar spikes and cravings without feeling deprived. How to make it through 30 days? Knowing the benefits is one thing. Actually making it through 30 days is another. The most important strategy is to not rely on willpower alone. Willpower is a limited resource, and it runs out, especially in the first week when cravings are at their peak. Instead, set up your environment so that cutting sugar is the easy choice. Get the sugary foods out of your house. Stock your kitchen with whole foods, proteins, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbohydrates. These foods keep you full and stable, which takes the edge off cravings. When a craving hits, have a plan. A small handful of nuts, a piece of fruit, a glass of water, or even just a 5-minute distraction can be enough to let the craving pass. Cravings are intense, but they are short. They typically peak and then fade within 15 to 20 minutes if you do not feed them. Protein is especially helpful during this period because it stabilizes blood sugar and keeps you feeling full for longer. Eat enough of it at every meal. Sleep also plays a big role. When you're sleep deprived, your body increases ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and makes you crave high-calorie, high-sugar foods much more intensely. Protect your sleep during these 30 days, and the entire process becomes significantly more manageable. Reducing sugar isn't always easy, especially at the beginning, but many people find that their energy, focus, and eating habits improve over time. Even small changes in sugar intake can make a noticeable difference in how your body feels. Would you try a 30-day no-sugar challenge? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about health, nutrition, and building better habits.